another rumor that was leaked yesterday, but then an hour later it said that somebody else reported that the Sixers are not interested in this guy. But it's a name we've talked about on the show quite often. That's Zach LaVine. So there was a rumor yesterday that the Sixers were in trade talks to get Zach LaVine shortly after the Alex Caruso trade went down. And then like minutes later, it was squashed by other Sixers sources saying that the Sixers are interested in Zach LaVine. So obviously, what do you guys think about that? I know we talked about him before on the show. What do you think about him being on this team if we were to make a trade for him? And also, too, just like at this point, I mean, it's getting really hard to trust sources and stuff at this point because so 2 days ago we said we were interested in Miles Bridges. Then like an hour later after that report, it was reported that we weren't interested in Miles Bridges anymore. So I don't even know what to trust anymore, Eric.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, you're gonna hear it from both ends. It's yes we are, yes we aren't, because you never want to be stuck in a situation where this is where you're going. So you want to kind of control the narrative, take away anyone's leverage, even if it's via player or via team. So I think that that's more of the changing of the conversations and reports that are going out there. So I think that's it. I think Zach LaVine fits. We've always said he fits. He can score. If Zach LaVine's your third guard when he was supposed to be your number one in Chicago, and then he becomes the number 3 player here, I mean, I think you can say you're a pretty good team.
Yeah.
So I like the fit. Not sure if we can get someone else with him. I mean, maybe Teja would have that answer. If so, then that would definitely work for me.
Yeah, he makes 43, 46, and then 48 player option, which I assume he'll opt into in 2026, 27. Which, you know what? I mean, sounded bad when he first signed it, but for what these salary caps are going to keep going up to every year,
yeah,
I don't really think it's as bad as people try to make it out to be. Not for a guy that's giving you 23, 25 a game. I mean, health is the only thing that, I'd be worried about, and that is a concern. But
not Paul George?
I was just going to say, but that's the concern for most guys. Paul George? Name all the available guys. Paul George, Ingram, OG Anunoby, Butler. Yeah. They've all missed considerable amount of time the last couple of years. All of them. All guys. Even Caruso's had injury problems.
Yeah.
Nicked up here and there. So it's like, I was talking to a buddy of mine who was dogging the Sixers having health issues. I was like, every team in the playoffs, I think every team, one of their top 3 players missed multiple games in the playoffs this year. So this isn't a Sixer problem. Everyone had injury problems. Yeah. The team that won the championship had injury problems. Okay, Porzingis missed 90% of the off or postseason. So Halliburton missed games. Brunson was dealing with injury problems. They were without Randall. I mean, I can go on and on and on. So it's injuries are everywhere. There's no.
They just happen to beat us. They just happen to beat us. So
yeah,
it doesn't really matter.
No, I know. That's you got to be convenient about it. But yeah, I mean, if you want someone who's never getting injured, get DeRozan. It's not the best fit, but if that's what you're worried about injuries, then go DeRozan then and call it a day because that guy's like an Iron Man. So I'm worried about it, but at the same time, like, you can't not pull the trigger on the guys because, I mean, any guy we might end up with at this point has that concern as far as the names that everyone's talking about. At least he's got the age on his side. He's 29, right? So I trust an injury-prone player at 29 than I trust one over at 35. But yeah, I don't believe anything anymore. It's hard because they're the one saying. The one thing I do think is interesting, though, both the Bulls and the Pelicans report about Ingram and LaVine. They both said Bulls and the Pelicans were calling people about the players. When usually you hear about a player being traded from a team, it's usually the other team calling them, right? But it's those teams calling around the league to get like their players off the team. So I do think that's interesting. How much does leverage play into that? I don't know, but I just found that interesting. I also think it's interesting that Utah was the other team with LaVine, and most, naturally, most people heard that and they were like, forget about LaVine. Let's get in for Markkanen. So, not that simple. That'd be great, but.
Well, there's a report yesterday that the Bulls were unwilling to do a package deal with LaVine and Caruso. They didn't want to do both of them together.
They like Giddey a lot.
Yeah.
I know Twitter thinks it's unbelievable if that's the case, but people have their own general management, they have their own scouting, they have their own team, they have their own personnel that they.
I mean, OKC like Giddey too into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's not that crazy.
You make a change and adjustment with your team. Is he not the same player anymore? I mean, you just loved him for the whole time he was there. Then you have, and then you make the decision to make him a spot up shooter, and people say, "Well, we're not going to guard him," and then you say he can't play anymore. But you didn't help him. You didn't put him in position to be successful.
Yep.
So, okay, I mean, he the same dude that y'all were hyping.
Yeah.
And for what they want him to be, right? The rumors are going to buy out Ball, and they want him to replace him as the point guard playmaker. That makes sense. If that's what you want.
Well, that's the way he needs to play. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people were laughing because apparently the reports were they got multiple first-round pick offers for Caruso at the trade deadline, and they said no to that. And then they end up trading him straight up for Giddey. That was kind of the a lot of people are laughing at the Bulls management.
I'm just saying, is it someone in the draft that's 21 years old that can do what Giddey did for Oklahoma City?
No, I don't believe so.
So what are we talking about? They had draft pick.
Just draft capital.
I'm just asking.
Yeah.
I'm just asking. Is someone that's 20? He's what, 21 years old, right?
Yeah, he's still pretty young.
He's young.
That's 6'7" or 6'8" or whatever he is that can put the numbers he put up on the number one team in the West.
Yeah.
Numbers were better than Caruso's.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not defending him. I'm just saying, I don't think that it's as bad as people kind of making it seem.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
They're both due extensions soon, so you're going to pay one or the other there, right?
Yeah, but you paying one that's going to fit your team versus the Bulls. There's no way the Bulls could extend Caruso with LaVine and DeMar and Ball and Kobe White. There's no way you could pay him that like that with those guys.
Yeah.
And apparently Vucevic is also on the block too. That's another guy they're apparently shopping as well.
Yeah, I mean, they probably shopping their whole team.
Yeah.
They should be.
Yeah.
They should have taken all the second-round picks for Drummond. But,
Yeah. No, they don't want to do that. They want to contend.
Yeah.